Hello and welcome in, you guys. We got One Piece chapter 1131 full spoilers. My name is Sai, and as per usual, the spoilers will be in the pinned comment if you haven't checked them out yet, but we are here to discuss it and talk a little bit about it. So with that being said, let's get right to it and talk about Loki, the accursed prince of the underworld. So we come to find out that the snowy area that Luffy and Loki are in is the hell realm of Elbaf, right? This is where they put all their prisoners, they chain them up to trees, and Loki has actually been here for 6 whole years. Oda gave us a time frame. Of course, 6 years ago, we don't really know where many characters were at that time, so it's pretty open-ended when he gave us that. But alongside that, we also got the reveal that Loki has a pirate crew alongside him too. And not just any pirate crew, right? It's not like Harden where he has the new giant warrior pirates. No. Loki has a group of humans as subordinates. And these humans, they sound interesting. It's a strange design, but the way the leakers describe it is that they wear gas masks to filter out the dastardly smell of the animal skin that they're wearing. Yeah, that is a One Piece design if I've ever heard of one myself. And we also come to find out that not just humans are on Loki's side, but the animals of Elbaf are also on Team Loki. Because Loki, when he calls for help, animals show up. And Loki tells us that as a kid, these guys were his pals. He loved the animals of the underworld. And I think that's pretty fitting for a character named Loki, but I also thought it was really interesting because in this same chapter, we see Harden and Stanson, the other 2 members of the new giant warrior pirates that we have not seen yet, and Harden and Stanson are in the underworld killing animals. So yeah, we can definitely see that Oda is playing at parallels here, right? You got Harden on one side and Loki on the other, and I'm really curious to see why Loki was down here so often as a kid. Right? Like, the guy has nobility. He's a prince. Why was he in the underworld making friends with animals? Why was he not up in the tree? What happened in this guy's past? I feel like there's a lot more to it, and we might get a sad backstory from Loki, believe it or not. So, going on, Luffy, in light of Loki's crew and animals showing up to his aid, Luffy defeats all of them in what seems to be, I believe, a double-page spread. Yeah, Luffy beats them instantaneously almost. Loki's crew gets absolutely rocked, and so do the animals. But after Luffy beats the animals, they come to Luffy's side and start spewing heart emojis all over him, which is a pretty One Piece thing, right? We've seen many instances where Luffy has beaten an animal, and then the next thing you know, the animal comes and joins Luffy's team. We saw this in Dressrosa with Musi. We saw this back at Fisherman Island with the Kraken. I feel like we've seen this with the Kung Fu Dugon even. Like, animals love to be beaten into submission. So after Loki's crew fails to take down Luffy, Loki has to find a different way to convince Luffy to release him from his chains. And that is when he turns his attention towards red-haired Shanks. So Shanks gets brought up by Loki's crewmates. They're saying, hey, hopefully this guy, Luffy, doesn't make us faint like when red-haired came to Elbaf. And Luffy says, wait, Shanks? You guys know of him? Where is he? What is he up to? And that is when Loki says, ooh, like, here we go. Like, you know red-haired Shanks, right? Ah, yeah, like, we were talking about chicken pirates, right? Luffy gets really upset. He goes gear 4th, tries to hit Loki while he's chained up still. Loki dodges it by moving his head, and he says he was just joking. And that if he wants to know more about Shanks, he's gonna have to release him. And we also get some indication as to where the key to the Sea Stone chains actually is as well. Loki says it is up above in the Yggdrasil tree and that somebody has it. He doesn't say who, he doesn't say where exactly, but we do know that it is up above. So there is a way to free Loki. And now the question becomes, will Luffy do this? I don't know. I'm still on the fence about it. Luffy, he loves Shanks, he loves the Shanks stories, and if he gets even one step closer to knowing where Shanks is at or what he's up to, I feel like Luffy would take it, right? I feel like he would. But at the same time, going upstairs and getting Loki's keys from the other giants of Elbaf, that's not an easy task. If Luffy could simply break the chains, I feel like he might do that. But to actually go out of his way and hunt down the keys, I don't know. That doesn't sound like a Luffy thing to me right away, but I would love to hear what you guys have to say about this. Do you think Luffy will go up the Yggdrasil tree and look for Loki's keys to get some information about Shanks? And even then, How good is this guy's information, right? We talked about it earlier, but Loki was imprisoned 6 years ago. So unless Shanks came up to Loki like yesterday and told him where he was gonna go and what he's doing, I don't think Loki has that much information. Actually, wait, scratch that. I think Loki could share some good information about Shanks. I was purely at first thinking about this from a pure, what is Shanks doing now standpoint, but maybe Loki could reveal to us why Shanks has a good relationship with the Giants of Elbaf. Maybe Elbaf is Shanks' territory, and Loki will tell us how that came to be. And hey, given how old Loki is, maybe he could even tell us a little bit about Gold Roger, because surely Roger stopped here on his journey with Shanks as well. So I think there is a lot we could gain from releasing Loki from a lore perspective. But yeah, with that being said though, one thing that we did get of note here is that this isn't just the Yggdrasil tree that Loki is chained up to, it is actually the treasure tree Atom. Dude. So a lot of us kind of already made the assumption that this was the treasure tree Atom, but it was never confirmed, right? It was like 90% there. We were just missing that Oda confirmation. And we finally got it. We finally met one of the legendary trees of the series. And it feels good, brother. It feels so damn good to see. And I'm curious to see how we got wood from this tree to begin with, right? Because Frankie ordered it from the black market, and that's how we made the 1000 Sunny. So I want to see if there's like a part of this tree that people have been actively, chipping away at, or maybe it's like at the top of the tree, we're getting like some of the branches off. I don't know, but I am really excited to see how the treasure tree Atom actually functions. Oh yeah, another thing I wanted to touch on before we move on is Loki's bounty. He has a bounty of 2.6 billion berries. We learned that yesterday. But we also learned that it is a special bounty. And in this chapter, in Loki's introduction box, we don't exactly learn why it's a special bounty yet, right? It could still be one of those situations where he's wanted only alive, only dead, or something different. But yeah, looks like Oda is still leaving that up to the imagination, and I would love to hear what you guys have to say about that too. What do you think is up with Loki's bounty? Why is his bounty special compared to other bounties in the world of One Piece? And now, for the final mystery about Loki that I'm kind of curious about is Loki's devil fruit. Because he does talk a little bit about it in this chapter. It's very vague, but he does mention that he has the powers of the sun god. He is the sun god that has been passed down for generations here on Elbaf. We know that's not true. We know that's not true because Luffy's the sun god. So what the hell did Loki eat? Whatever Loki ate, he truly does believe that he is that guy. Whatever the giants have been passing down for generations, whatever devil fruit that is, it's not the real one. So what is it? Is it like the Mera no Mi where it gives him fire abilities? Does it make him stretchy? Does it give him white hair? I don't know. But he is confident, and it seems like so many of the other giants were confident that whatever they were passing down is the sun god's power. But we know that's not true. So yeah, again, this makes me so curious to see what the hell Loki's all about. And for that reason alone, I kind of want Luffy to free this guy, Because I'm so curious about this guy's powers, I want this guy to be unchained. I definitely want him to be unchained. I have seen people bringing up, Norse mythology, saying he could be Surtur. Hopefully I pronounced that right, which is like a fire giant, I believe. And I like that idea a lot. I could totally see that happening. And apparently it plays a key role in Ragnarok as well. But yeah, I'm not trying to get into too much Norse mythology right away. But yeah, I would love to hear all your thoughts. What do you think Loki has? What abilities could we see? And will Luffy eventually release this guy? Also, one thing I almost forgot to mention is that we do see Zoro's group in this chapter, and they're currently still running away from Road. Zoro offers to turn around and beat all of them black and blue, but Usopp tells Zoro not to do that because they still have no idea what their situation is yet. Usopp doesn't want Zoro to go beat Road, just in the off chance that Road is a good friend of Dory and Brogy. And of course, Goldberg and Gerd are also there as well, so if Zoro does turn around and fight them, then we will be performing some friendly fire. So I can see why the Straw Hats are running instead of just simply fighting them. But yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting, but also Goldberg and Gerd are after Road and not the Straw Hats. They still have no idea what the hell is going on. Apparently, Goldberg and Gerd showed up and Road just ran away. So yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff happening here, and I want to see what you guys think about this. And now on to the final parts of this chapter, we got Robin and Saul. There's not too much to go off of here, but of course, we got Robin going back to the OG hairstyle, and it turns out that a lot of people in the crew actually compliment Robin. You know, at first, I felt like this might just be a one-off thing, where, you know, Robin cuts her hair for like one arc, and then she goes back to normal. But I don't know, man. Like, Oda's really hyping this up. Like, this is almost as big as the Loki part of the chapter. You got every single character of the crew, plus the giants, all complimenting Robin on the hair. And it's like, dude, is Oda going to stick with this hair for the rest of the series? I think he might. You know, I know it sounds silly, you know, talking about Robin's hair as a main plot point, but it's kind of big, man. Like, the Straw Hats don't always go through a drastic appearance change. So yeah, I think since we are in the final saga, since we are going to meet Saul, since so many Straw Hats are hyping this up, and because Robin's demonial form also has the bangs as well, I think Oda wants to go back. I definitely think that Oda's going to take this hairstyle and just run with it. But hopefully he doesn't run too fast, because he's going to trip over Saul's dead body. So at the very end of the chapter, the last thing we see is that a mysterious person is yelling, "Help, help. Saul Sensei has fell down and he's not moving at all." And we already talked about Saul, right? You know, why is he falling down? Is it an illness? Is it, you know, the pain from the Buster Call of Ohara? We're not exactly sure. But the main thing I wanted to point out is that whoever is with Saul here looks up to him. And I thought that was kind of cool, right? Because beforehand, Saul had nobody, and he was kind of like a loner. Even the Marines thought he was a little bit of an oddball. But it's nice seeing that here on Elbaf, he does have people that are studying under him. And now, bouncing off of the spoilers, there are a couple of things that I am curious about, or things that I'm kind of theorizing right now. The first one is the man off the coast of Elbaf, because we still have not seen that guy ever since he said, "Come on then," right? We don't know who that is, but now that Robin and the gang are approaching Elbaf, now that they're about to land on Elbaf, we might actually see what's up. So I think we will get that answer pretty soon, and I'm really looking forward to it, right? Because the giants are about to celebrate. You know, they're like, "Hey, let's bring out the booze, but let's wait till we land." You know, they're right there. So yeah, Robin's group is about to run into this mysterious character, so that is massive. The next question I have is about Kid. You know, we learned in this chapter, thanks to Loki, that the underworld is where they imprison all of their prisoners. Imprisoned all their prisoners. Sounds a little bit redundant. But yeah, maybe Kid is here. I think I'm pretty hopeful on that as well. Either way, I feel like Kid will be around the area. If he's not off the coast of Elbaf, he's going to be in this underworld place. So yeah, maybe we see Kid also chained up to a tree. Of course, I think that would be very unfortunate, because last time we met Kid, he was also chained up. Like, at this point, the guy just can't stay out of prison, right? Udon prison over here. My God, Kid, come on. Clean up your act. And now the last thing I am curious about as well is what was Shanks' involvement in Loki's capture. We know that Shanks had a run-in with Loki's crew, but that doesn't necessarily mean that Shanks put Loki in these chains and or beat him. And another thing I want to point out is that even though Shanks knocked Loki's crew unconscious, that doesn't have to be because Shanks didn't like them. Because just thinking back to Whitebeard's introduction, when Shanks showed up on the Whitebeard pirate ship, people were getting knocked out left and right. Like, Shanks doesn't always control his hockey to where fodder can survive it. So it could be a thing where Shanks just wanted to talk to Loki, and then these subordinates just being on the side passed out because they're not those guys. So yeah, I could definitely see this going a lot of different ways. I think there is still too much ambiguity to actually make a clear distinction of whether or not Shanks was, you know, helping Loki, hating Loki, or just talking to Loki. I think that is still up in the air. But again, I want to pass the question back to you guys. What do you think about this entire chapter? What are your theories coming off of it? Of course, we will be making a discussion video based off of your comments. So if you want it to be read, just drop it down below and we might pick it up. But yeah, I'll catch you guys later. My name is Sai, and I'm signing out. Peace out, brother.